I love it. I love it. I love it when hubris bites people in the butt. And especially I love it when the hard left who think that they are so great, that they're so upright, and they know better, and they're better than you, get it right in the keister. And I have not seen a better example of this than Biden's recent ATF pick, who last year decided that he was going to insult a lot of first-time gun owners. And I'm here to tell you who those gun owners are that he insulted. And I'm wondering if he's going to be required to take a step back and apologize or maybe correct himself. But let's dive in. This is from the Daily Caller. Like Tiger King, Biden's ATF pick mocked first-time gun buyers in an interview last year. This is great. President Joe Biden's pick to lead the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives mocked first-time gun owners who purchased firearms during the coronavirus pandemic, saying in an interview last year that they were putting themselves and their families in danger. In an April 2020 interview with Cheddar, David Chipman, the Biden nominee, compared the gun buyers to people preparing for a zombie attack and suggested they hide their unloaded firearms from themselves in order to stay safe. He also compared new gun owners to Joe Exotic, an Oklahoma zookeeper and gun enthusiast who is the subject of the Netflix series Tiger King. Biden nominated Chipman for the ATF position on Thursday during a press conference. He nominated him. He also announced several gun control executive orders. Chipman said in an interview that he understood the pandemic-induced anxiety that led to a spike in gun sales. It ain't that. But he worried that purchasers were making, quote, rash decisions that could put them at risk. Most of the new buyers who went out to the gun store and bought a gun have no training whatsoever, Chipman said in an interview with Cheddar that aired on April 3rd, 2020. In their mind, they might be competent. They might think they're die-hard and ready to go, but unfortunately, they're more like Tiger King. They're putting themselves and their families in danger. Such a great view that he has of American people. Chipman then compared the new gun purchasers to people in fear of an attack by zombies. What I would suggest, this is going to be so good. What I would suggest, said Chipman, is if they go out and buy a gun, I would secure that gun locked and unloaded and hide it behind the cans of tuna and beef jerky that you've stored in the cabinet and only bring that out if the zombies start to appear. I don't think they are. I'm going to go ahead and stop it here because this is already beautiful. So let me break this down. He's mocking people thinking that, oh yeah, a zombie apocalypse is coming. If that's the case, then go ahead and break out the guns, but it's not gonna happen. And, apparently Americans are too stupid. We're like Joe Exotic. We're too stupid to own guns. But who are these first-time gun owners? Why are there people buying guns right now? Well, let's take a look. Here at The Hill, gun ownership among Black Americans is soaring. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. In times of uncertainty, people want to be able to have the means to defend themselves, a law professor said. And God honest truth, this is black gun ownership increasing in America is a good thing. I am happy that is happening. I think that more families of all colors should buy guns and have guns. I think that the more armed our society is, the more polite it will be. That's just, because if you have to weigh your life with a crime, or if you're having to measure whether or not something is like crime is worth committing, you're probably going to choose your life every time. So the more people that own guns, the better, if you ask me. But let's dive into this article. Black people are buying guns at a high record rate, partially due to fear and anxiety, according to The Guardian. Black people owning guns have gone up 58.2% according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, and gun groups like the, quote, Not Effing Around Coalition, NFAC, consist of armed social justice advocates who demand justice for George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, visibly strapped with handguns. The Guardian also noted that gun ownership among black people spiked both when President Trump lost his re-election campaign and when Ahmaud Arbery, a black jogger who died after he was inspecting an empty house, was gunned down. In times of uncertainty, people want to be able to have the means to defend themselves, Robert Cottrell, a law professor at George Washington University, told The Guardian. People are worried that they're not being protected and they'll have to do it themselves. So let's go back. This guy right here, Biden's ATF pick, David Chipman, decided that the people who were buying guns for the first time were idiots and mocked them. He just mocked a large portion of the black community, many of whom are first-time gun owners. Now, some people are buying guns for reasons of protection, and I am 110% behind that. The only thing I will agree with Chipman about is that I do feel that anyone who does buy a gun should go get training. They absolutely should. Gun safety and knowing how to use your gun is, I think, one of the top things that we in America should be pushing on the American people. Not the fear of guns, not gun control, but gun safety, actual gun safety. How to store your gun, how to properly use your gun, when you can use your gun. These are all things that I feel like Americans really need to know. And I think that, again, the more people who own guns, the better our society is going to be, the safer it's going to be. Many people learn that they can use a gun in certain situations to protect themselves, not in offense. And the more people who know that, the better, I think. But the fact alone that this guy decided to preemptively mock new gun owners, not understanding that many of these gun owners would be from minority communities, is just delicious. I think that he needs to walk this back publicly. I think that he needs to answer for what he just said. Because there are a lot of people out there who bought guns, especially in black neighborhoods, because they wanted to protect themselves. Now, the media is going to try to sell it that they're trying to protect themselves from things like white supremacy. There are a lot of racists out there who just want to kill people because they're a different color than them. While I'm sure that those people do exist out there, they are so few and far between that you could probably count them on one hand, figuratively speaking. It's not a massive problem in this nation. If it was, you would know. Racism is not as big of a problem in our country as the social justice community, as the left would have you believe. There are a lot of people out there who want you to believe that America is a racist nation because it allows them to divide and conquer. It's easier to get people to vote for you when you think that you can, or when they think that the only protection that they're going to get is from a certain political party who understands and protects them. With a gun, they don't have to worry about that, by the way. But let's dive in to one of the reasons many first-time gun owners suddenly popped up, especially recently. This is from the Washington Free Beacon. Riots likely drove 2020's biggest gun sales spike. Seasonally adjusted sales hit an unprecedented levels in June, analysis shows. Now, this was written back in September of 2020, but back into September of 2020, the summer of 2020, you had a big problem with riots. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, they were running wild. In a record-breaking year for gun buying, the biggest spike in firearm purchases came as protests and riot broke out across the nation in June, a Washington Free Beacon analysis of the FBI data indicates. While March saw the most guns sold thus far in 2020, seasonally adjusted data shows that it was June, the month after the death of George Floyd and subsequent onset of protests and civil unrest, that most exceeded expectations, massively outpacing usually languid summertime sales. That suggests images of stores being looted and buildings being burned across many of America's largest cities drove citizens to purchase guns at an even higher rate relative to usual seasonal patterns than the onset of the coronavirus pandemic. David Koppel, a Cato Institute scholar with decades of experience in gun research, told the Washington Free Beacon the sales spike is clearly a response to the violence. Crime in general is a driver in gun sales, he said, and that includes not just individual criminals, but it also includes criminals who operate in large groups like rioters or looters. We had nationwide riots, mass violence, and police often ordered not to interfere or they were overwhelmed. People understood more than ever that they have to be their own first responders. So they tried to blame it on the coronavirus. People were antsy about the coronavirus. It made them nervous. But imagine that you're an American, especially a black American, and you're watching the TV, and you are watching neighborhoods go up in flames, businesses looted and destroyed, people getting beaten in the streets, carjackings left and right, dangerous people walking around in black masks assaulting people. You're going to get a little worried. And it's not just, again, Chipman's first problem was thinking that it was all white people, but it wasn't, as the numbers show. Once again, 58.2% increase. Yeah, they're scared. They were scared of violence. And they had every right to be, because people were tearing up their homes. They were tearing up their neighborhoods, the places they do business, where they go to get groceries, where they go to get medicine. They saw all this and were scared. And so they armed themselves. Because the fact is that you are the first and last line of defense. You can call the police, but the police will often, as the article stated, they either arrive there too late or they're ordered to stand down because they don't have the resources and manpower to engage in all these people, all these mobs, these Black Lives Matter rioters and stuff. And since Black Lives Matter rioters primarily rioted in black neighborhoods or black towns, of course black people are going to be scared. Of course they're going to try to go out and buy firearms and protect themselves with the best means necessary. Why wouldn't they? It's perfectly normal. It's completely understandable. It's even advisable in any case. But this is who this guy was mocking. This is the guy who is comparing people in black neighborhoods, the black community who went out and became first-time gun owners. This is who they were mocking, or this is who he was mocking. He was mocking the black community. I think that he should apologize. I think that he should answer for what he said. I think that he should walk it back. And I really think that the media needs to take a long, hard look at why the black community felt the need to go out and buy guns. It wasn't because of white supremacy. It wasn't. It was because of organizations like Black Lives Matter that went out there and were encouraging riots, and not just the Black Lives Matter organization, the media and the Democrats themselves. You have the Democrats stoking these riots, then they turn around and tell you that you're an idiot for buying a gun. Doesn't make much sense to me. And I bet for the black community, these first-time gun owners, it's even doubly insulting to be called an idiot, to be compared to the Tiger King because you want to protect yourself. I'll see you in the next video. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification icon so you're made aware when we upload new content. See you in the next video.